Good afternoon guys, James here. Welcome down to Sunseeker Pool, head of production facilities here in the UK. We have a really cool one to look around with you today. So behind me here, really rare on the 2025 season, is a stock Sunseeker 95 yacht. This is boat 465. She's a new interesting project for us, bonus boat for this year. She's behind me, literally just come out of the shipyard, getting ready for the showcase event down here over the next few days. So there's a few finishing touches still to do. Realistically won't be PDI finished until the end of March, but today, while the sun's out, I thought a great opportunity to come and show you around one of these. It's been a while since we've seen one on the channel. It's a very successful boat, based mechanically and the hull on the hugely successful Sunseeker 28 metre yacht. So these are just over 28 metres tip to tip. As we walk down the side to the front, we'll highlight a couple of things like the big windows here. So these are the lower deck cabins here, with the optional drop out balcony here, so that drops down hydraulic horizontal plane, and then we've got some stainless steel handrails that go in there. But as we come up forward, you now see glass cut into the bulwarks and this extended brow design to give a master cabin on main deck. So we can do 4 or 5 cabin layout on this one, but this particular boat is configured with the 5. So up on the front here, technically a certain section in the nose here is removable, which means the boat stays under the 24 metre load line length, which from a crewing and regulatory point of view is really important in certain operating territories around the world. So it can be driven on a 200 tonne yacht master licence, or technically even an ICC if you can get insurance covered to suit. Full crew in the back. It's a fully planing deep V Sunseeker pedigree hull. So we're powered by the largest option 12V MTU 2000 horsepower, so they're the M96X, the larger 2000 series engines. So she gets on for around 26 and a half knots, wide open throttle. But bring the boat back to a more sedate 12, 13 knots, and we have a range in excess of 1,000 nautical miles. Now, just having a look round, so she's finished in that really classic, as with many of our yachts today, rail white, bright, shiny gel coat. We have then, if we come in on the side here, hidden just beneath the pontoon line there is the boot top stripe, as we call it, and that's finished in LSA jet black. And then up top we also have an optional black painted hard top. We've got the mullions there and some clever painting around the sides that we'll see, which lowers the profile of the yacht when you stand back and look at these from afar. So let's jump on board and have a look. Platform here, so this is the upgrade 1,000 kilo platform on the back, so 900 kilo tender lift, something like a 445 Williams is the max on here. I do have a 435 in stock physical as of today, so if you didn't want to wait for a forward build on your tender, we could get that fitted during PDI and onto the water extremely quick. In the back here, so optional removable baling down there, and that drops into some sockets here on the back just to make access a little easier into the sea. Of course, you have the little standard arrangement in the platform there as well. These are the sockets in the back for it. You can see things like the pop-up cleats for tender tie off, and then we have some lockers in the back for the electrical system and fresh water plugins and what have you as well. Crew in the back, we'll finish off and come down there and see the machinery at the end. Teak throughout, so natural wood finish. You can see platform up the stairs here. Passerelle drops down behind this step arrangement. Beautiful stainless steel on these. You can see detailing with the Sunseeker logos, what have you. Full platinum pack, so we've got all of the usual bits you'd expect to see on a yacht of this size there, with the stern docking winches, what have you. We're weighing north of 80 tons on one of these, so very big, proper ship. Large bulwarks, if we have a look just how tall the fiberglass mouldings are here all the way down deck. So rails are up at waist height, feels very secure. We'll see that when we go round. But in the aft cockpit here, where I'm just spinning around, you have to excuse a bit of mess, guys, are still getting the boat ready for the show. We have a fixed classic centre table with the aft U-shaped seating area, and then you've got space around the back here to have some director's chairs. So give lots of different options of how an owner might want to use it. Some space over the back here if you want to put some bean bags in the corner. Triple stack doors here, so they're all the way back here on the port side in the current configuration. And then we have a sink here. We've got a fridge, ice maker, some storage cupboard, and then over here the optional third station control. So we're on hydraulic bow and stern thrusters underneath that one, and then of course throttle controls engine stops and what have you, so very handy when coming into port. Imagine stood here, we've got complete visibility here down the starboard side all the way through if we'd had a boat moored next to us to the platform and the quayside behind. Right, so let's go inside and then we'll do the outside to finish off. So aft, classic saloon setup here with all of the seating over to one side, and then we have this very sleek minimalist low-level sideboard with the TV out on permanent display. It's one of the new picture frame style 65-inch TV over there, very thin and doesn't encroach too much onto that vista out through the side window. Of course, there's glass everywhere in these, lots of carbon fibre used in the pillar construction and what have you to hold the Flybridge up, and it gives us then these giant, almost 180 degree from the side through the stern here, viz from this saloon seating area. A couple of different spec options in here, but you can see, as you see in her current guise, with that low-level coffee table, we could do something slightly different if you had another different personal choice. And then we've got the wood floor running through here all the way onto the main deck with a nice inlaid carpet, lots of fabric, carpet and soft furnishing upgrades on this one. There's also a lot of detail, things like the opti-grey mirrors in some of the mullions to make the boat feel a little bit more spacious in here. But you can see we partition the boat off, some changes in headlinings here to take you forward then into the dining space just ahead. Via my lighting control here, we've got a host of underwater lights on the back, all dimmable on the touch panels. Big tropical spec aircon system to keep the boat cool, obviously with all of this glass. And we come forward now into the dining space, configured as you can see here with 8 chairs, given that we do have the 4 lower deck cabins, and then we can add more if required. These will charter for 12 plus crew if you so wish. We can put some extra Pullman beds in the centre cabins when we go down in a sec. But over here on the port side, you've got the linear sideboard, crockery, cutlery and what have you. Sliding patio door arrangement here to starboard, opening straight out onto where that balcony was that we saw just a second ago. And then we have a full AV system in here with a Sonos system. We've got Sonant speakers, it's all amplified subwoofers and what have you, for a great sound stage when you're at sea. A galley, being a commercial, semi-commercial setup, you can see is completely enclosed. As if you were running with 4 crew, you might often have one of them being a full-time permanent chef. Space here for plating up, there's a lot of storage, dishwasher, ample worktop space and storage provisions. And then these are large figure boat refrigerators, semi-commercial, so we've got 2 fridges, 2 freezers beneath, and then there's a lot of extra refrigeration up on the Flybridge and other places through the back of the boat to suit. A lot of detail. So this is a satin sheen eucalyptus wood here, and then we've got the inlaid stone, some nice stainless steel detailing. It's modern feeling inside without being overly OTT. I think it's a really nice finish actually. And up on the bulkhead here, there's space if you wanted to perhaps put a piece of art there centre stage. Really down to each own individual's choice of what they prefer. So, party piece for me, this is what sells the boat. We come forward now into the main deck master cabin. I will just highlight as we come through, we've got the optional day head here with 2 different doors and this sort of airlock. Now that means for those of you perhaps in the master cabin at night, need to get up to use a bathroom, you don't need to go down into the ensuite below. That was a criticism in the early boats that was revised later on in the design process. So this is very common to see up here, but also during the daytime we can shut this one off, giving then from the deck access here use of it as a day head to suit. Right, coming forward, so we're now into the owner's private VIP master suite here on main deck. So we've got a side deck direct access door there, a nice little vanity station here, and then we come forward into the main bulk of the cabin itself. Now you can see those glass windows and that glass bulwark that we mentioned earlier, and how that works so well to let the natural light in to the boat. So we're 6.55 metres in the beam, and we only lose about 3/4 metre either side for the side deck outside, and that then gives this giant master cabin, which would really give even something like a 35-metre 116 yacht a run for its money up here. It's a very, very nice space indeed. Because the heads and all the dressing space is downstairs, this would typically be a crew space downstairs in some of our other large yachts. It was a very clever revision to that 28-metre hull to give you the 5-cabin option, bringing that master cabin up to main deck, which the 28-metre didn't have, and hence why this has been such a successful model in the range. Launched in 2016, 17, and we have built plenty since. So we have a big AV system, 55-inch TV up there, and some lovely LED lighting here. So we're down then into the sort of dressing area, little vanity station over here, full size top to bottom wardrobes and storage shelves, and then we go basically back underneath this master cabin into the owner's bathroom. So we have a big shower over on this side, some upgrades on the stone finish, and then over on this side, of course, loo, what have you. You can do a combi bidet in there. We've got a sort of his and hers type sink arrangement there. And again, that theme with the beautiful stainless steel railings and what have you running through from the exterior here into the cabin spaces. So if we head on back, let's go and see the other guest cabin before we then go upstairs. So this is where you'd have the option for 3 or 4 lower deck cabins. Nearly all of these built as a 5-cabin configuration, and hence the 4 here downstairs. So bottom of the stairs we have a corridor leading either forward or aft. And if we come around here, you see the twin bed arrangement. This is an optional, you can see the tracks in the floor sliding across to make an ad hoc double, so that's quite useful if you weren't to run the boat for charter. You got the option for adults, kids and what have you to suit. We can do, say, some Pullman beds in these cabins if required. This boat works really nicely, if I'm honest, with the crew available with the 4 people to run it as a 10-berth boat, but there is the option if required. Again, AV system in all the cabins as you would expect. And these are proper junior suites. So again, good size bathroom and all the usual bits and pieces in here. Across the hallway, almost a mirror image cabin as we just saw, with the same upgrade sliding tracks there in the floor. Quick scan into the bathroom there just to see how that works. A lot of storage underneath the floors here, so longer term provisions is no problem at all. We've got cupboards and storage for extra towels and bedding, what have you. You can put a separate set of laundry appliances in here if you need to. It's obviously got all of that down in the crew mess at the back, but some owners do like to have a secondary set closer to the cabin. And we're now into the 2 main double guest cabins. So these obviously face, as you can see, the headboard backing onto that lovely vista out through the side. Again, wardrobes and storage. You can see the graining through this eucalyptus wood. It's a really popular wood since we launched this in 2019, I think it was. Been very popular against what was then, prior to that, typically seen was the black American walnut. Again, nicely finished suite. And then if we come across the hallway here, much the same this side, just as a reverse mirror image. To what we've just seen. Right, so let's head back up. Love the glass panel here. It makes everything feel very bright and airy as we come up the stairs. So these are about £8.1 million, just over, with these engines as a base boat. This boat's running just over £9 million. So over £1 million worth of extras. And it's clear to see where that money's been spent. Lots of little tweaks in all the right areas to really give this a very opulent feel indeed. Now, in terms of the main bridge, so we're on the lower enclosed wheelhouse, or raised pilot house as you often hear it referred to, and I'm just sitting here on the observation seating. You can see around the main helm. Nice cool place here to chill out, chat to the captain underway, or if you're running at night, this is where the crew might hang out if you're entertaining back in the saloon or perhaps up on the Flybridge. And if we come to the helm itself, You can see we've got the 3 upgrades. These are 19-inch multifunction displays. So generally 2 for nav, 1 reading your CM8 monitoring system, which is Sunseeker's onboard monitoring. And would you believe, given it is technically owner operable at this size, we have a full Zenta joystick, which takes control of the gearboxes and the thrusters for close quarters manoeuvring if you're not competent to use all the individual controls. The jog dial here, so that controls the screens, as well as these being multifunction touch, pinch to zoom, what have you. Autopilot, remote spotlight, tankage there, and then all the usual bits to hand here from the centre captain seat in the middle. So before we head up onto the main bridge, I'm just going to take you now on a quick tour of the exterior with the drone. I'll show you a few little highlights, and then we'll head back on board and continue our tour. Okay, so over the next couple of minutes, let's take a look at the exterior. You can see up on the bow there, that nice private seating area. We have extended mullions either side there for wind protection, and a centre staircase that takes you up onto that cavernous flat sun pad over the owner's master cabin up on the main deck there. You can see now the exterior profile of the raised pilot house. That centre bridge section, there's some clever paintwork used between the master cabin and the central saloon area to blend all of that glass into one seamless line. Really improved the lines of these boats over the last few years. And we come around to the stern here. I've come up high just so you get a feel for how the open deck area works. We'll go into this in a little bit more detail when we head back onto the boat, just to discuss the various options available in that aft open deck space, as you can see there. And then just scanning down, you'll see the bathing platform, where we talked earlier about the idea of what can be fitted to the platform. So let's head then back on board, continue our tour from the Wheelhouse. We'll head up to the Flybridge. Separate access, so there's a dual access out onto the Flybridge, and this is taking us up from the pilot house onto the main entertaining deck. So we have a bench seat over this side. Guys have just cleaned the boat, so I'm not going to take all the covers off, ready for the show tomorrow, but certainly 3 or 4 bodies this side. We have a helm and co-pilot seat over this side. I will just pop the dash cover off. You can see how this all works. So these are 16-inch Simrads on here. You can see with slightly smaller screen space, but giving exactly the same functionality as downstairs. Everything else to hand. And then at the helm seat itself, you have these really cool steps that allows you to sit at the helm, and then you can take in the vista when underway. Say whether you run up to that sort of 26 knot wide open throttle, but boats like this typically are run around 11 to 13 knots at semi-displacement speed for most of the Mediterranean Adriatic cruising grounds that we typically sell them to today. Right, further upgrades. So Ocean 90 custom wet bar. So we've got inlaid detailing in the front, stainless steel, LED backlit detailing. We've got the triple bar stools, as you would expect. All of the usual attributes in terms of griddles, fridges, ice makers, and what have you, for easy servery. And then of course with the stairs here, very easy for crew to come up, provisioning direct into the wet bar arrangement, and then serving on to guests here on this one big giant portside seating group. So you'll notice we've got the tables with height adjustable, again, cost option design, very cleverly simple design, but with these closed up as such, it then means easy access through the middle. So if you've got smaller parties on the boat, don't have the faff of having to climb over one another. There is then some space here around parts of the table to add some director's chairs, and then these do drop down as well with some cushions over the top to make an ad hoc sunbed if required. We mentioned the hard top earlier. You can see up above us here with the LSA jet black painted finish, and then we have this full opening centre section to let the sunlight in when required. We move then into the aft end of the Flybridge, and this is very much left from factory build as a blank canvas, as every owner is going to want to do something slightly different up here to suit their own individual use. So options: centre mount square or rectangular jacuzzi. We can do some fixed sunbathing with a moulding over on the port side here. We can do a crane, have to do some modifications here to ensure easy access, but there is some deck reinforcement in to allow us to add some of this sort of kit at a later date. There is actually room, if you're really pushing the envelope, to put a smaller jacuzzi this side and a jet ski as well. So again, really a case of talk to us about what you want to achieve and we can try and give you something to suit. For me, I love some beautiful freestanding Summit teak sun lounges out here. I think it makes it very nice in day-to-day operation. And then on the top here, this is a horizontal sliding patio awning. Somebody on a jet ski just getting into trouble there with the bridge control. But yeah, this comes out. There's a couple of vertical supports to clip in, and then that's designed to run when underway. 6'72" nautical mile open array Simrad Halo radar scanner up top, and we've got all the usual AIS, VHF and what have you in terms of a full nav kit. There's space up top on the front if you want to put a FLIR thermal imaging camera, Starlink dishes and all of that sort of stuff, depending on what sort of nav spec and AV that the owner might require. Right, let's head on back and we'll do the crew space, and to finish off then the engine room. So off the bathing platform access here, there is actually a secondary access from the deck up above if required, but you've got a nice, very commercial wet room style floor. Have to excuse, there are cushions and a few other bits and pieces down here. But we have the optional 5th bed. So the table is then made as a high-low drop-down, extra fill-in cushion. It's an ad hoc curtain arrangement. It gives an extra 5th crew bed if required. It only works on a private yacht because it won't comply with MLC for commercial use. So if you're running as a charter boat, just 4 crew hiding behind the cushions here. You can see 2 single bunks. They've got all the AV and what have you. They're actually pretty good. If I come into this one, for yachts of this class, this is a pretty good cabin. You've got plenty of room to stand up here and get dressed in the morning, wardrobe and all the bits and pieces. Slightly wider mattresses than standard. We like to do on most of our builds, just makes life on board for crew a little bit more tolerant. Say, and then an ad hoc 5th one, we do get asked for it, so it's there as an option. AV system, there's a mini galley. Obviously crew with a chef up top would generally be prepping for the crew, but we've got a fridge, a small microwave for fast meals, and then we've got another nav station here with a plotter and a VHF for easy comms, either up to the bridge or perhaps to just anchor watch at night. Now it will be a bit noisy in here because we've got some of the fans running on the charging systems and what have you, but if we just come into the engine room, let you take this in. I could spend all day in here. It is an absolutely wonderfully finished space. So we've got 1,750 litres of water, 435 litres black water, the dual calorifiers, so 2 hot water tanks up there. That's basically to allow the retrofit of a jacuzzi spa up top if required. We obviously mentioned the fuel being 12,000 litres earlier. Earlier 95s had triple generators, but you can see on this particular spec we've reverted back to the more classic dual units running outboard either side of these stunning Rolls-Royce parent company MTU 12V engines. So you can see the V configuration here with the triple sequential turbos, so they really do boost up nicely, get going very quick for a boat of such a big weight. Then round the engine base we've got things like power packs for the stabilizers, running a big fin stabilization system, fire flaps and all the air intakes. We've got all the easy access main breaker boxes here for the mixture of AC and DC systems, live voltage isolation transformer there for some of the shore power system, and then the aircon plant. And to finish off there in the corner above the generator we have the optional Idramar water maker. It is pretty much ready to go, this one, other than the name on the back, safety kit, maybe a few bits and pieces, final tweaks and a tender on the back. She's pretty much ready to set sail. Built to Rena spec, so not complicated to say if you want to go into the commercial charter world. She really is a great option to consider, given those 10 berths, the 5 cabins. That's quite rare in a boat underneath that 24 metre load line in terms of what can be offered into the market. So it's lovely to show you around here today. There is a lot to see here. We're running a private VIP client event for the next 10 days here in Poole. So if you want to come and see anything, if you're talking about buying a boat for this season, we've got a few options for you running through the range. This is the only large yacht we have in this sort of size for the 25 season. So if you want to get in touch, of course, as always, it's James at sunseekersouthampton.com. The mobile's +44 7747 686 587. Hope you've enjoyed looking around with us. Really excited. I love these, I really do. Hopefully we'll see you soon.